why would you want to protect your privacy online? First of all, for me, there's two big reasons. One being the billion-dollar advertising industry and target advertising and social engineering and all of that. And the other being governmental agencies wanting to collect and aggregate all sorts of data so they can have an advantageous stance and use that maybe to your disadvantage. Let's talk about the billion-dollar advertising agency. For those of you who don't know, maybe you're one of those people who enjoy the target marketing because everything is so relevant to you. Here's the thing. When you use things like social media, or if you enable cookies on every website that you visit, it's all connecting and making a story about you, your likes, your habits, what you're most likely to be spending money on. And this is incredibly valuable information for things like advertising agencies, for companies who want to sell you things online. They spend they spend so much of their budget on marketing and targeted marketing that it reflects in the cost of their products, so much so that it's just they are honing in to target you specifically to buy a product, and now that product costs probably like 75% more than it would have if they didn't do this. And furthermore, would this product even be successful? Would you even buy it if it wasn't for this extreme marketing tactic? Or are you just buying a crappy product that only is successful because of these really specific target ads? It's all just a huge scheme to get you to spend more money on crap that you don't need. That's a huge reason I think you should definitely be protecting your privacy online, because there are many advertisers that are making billions of dollars a year based on what you click on. And you're giving this information probably unknowingly, certainly without your permission, and they are making a killing off of it. Additionally, of course, there's government agencies who have been logging your activities for years now, especially with things like Siri or Alexa. They're pretty much just spying on you. It's all been leaked thanks to Edward Snowden and these groups like Anonymous that are leaking out information that the government would prefer you not to know, because they're showing that they are violating your privacy without you even knowing, without trying to get your consent. Even if you're saying, oh, well, I'm not doing anything bad. What do I have to hide? Why would I want to hide my privacy? Whatever. Let them all see it. Well, the thing is, laws tend to change. And if for some reason you all of a sudden find yourself on the other side of the law, they have this huge backlog of all of your information, and they can see instances where maybe online you liked a post that now can be considered politically dangerous or something, or you commented in an emotional way that now they think you're like at risk for committing a crime or something. Who knows the way it's going to be going down further in the road, especially if you're a U.S. citizen. I think it's just smart. And unfortunately, what you're about to see through this class is it's not exactly the most convenient way to interact with the internet, but the more you value your privacy, the more you want to protect it. Unfortunately, the more steps you're going to have to take to try and protect yourself, because at this point, the way things have gone, it's like a default setting to be extremely invasive, to be tracking your every move, and there's a lot of people making money off of it. And as always, where the money is, that's where the laws tend to favor. You'll notice in the video description, I have a ton of links. All the tools, the privacy tools I'm talking about today, as well as some of the wallets and privacy protocols I'm talking about today, links to all that can be found in the video description for those of you who want to follow along and actually check them out. So let's just dig right into it. So as you're interacting with the internet, for the average person, most people still use centralized social media like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, what have you. And I think that they're understanding the levels of privacy that you can be practicing online is you can make it super easy for them by just being yourself and liking everything that you like, posting what you had for dinner, what your relationship status is like pretty much putting your entire life online to the point where advertisers and governments can know exactly who you are and study you. and that is incredibly creepy. You can make it easy for them, you can make it annoying for them, you can make it difficult for them, or you can make it impossible for them. The last one being probably just staying off the internet altogether, or being very strategic in the way that you interact with it. So here's some basic things to be aware of. What are you voluntarily giving away? Your first and last name, maybe your email, your address, your phone number. Who are you giving this information to? Do you actually know the company that will be storing this information? And additionally, what kind of rights do they now have over your information? I've said this all the time when I ever talk about KYC with exchanges, is that most of the time, these exchanges have hired a KYC third-party company to store and secure your information. And sometimes in those privacy policies, those privacy statements, they say that they're able to store your information for like up to 5 years, maybe indefinitely. Some of them have the ability where they have it in the fine print where you can request to have your information deleted. Whether or not they do so or not is another story. I don't know that you can prove that, but maybe some of them have that option. Also, just know this universal fact. The second you give away your information, just know that whoever you gave it to will not value it as much as you did. Even though it could definitely be argued here that you must not value it that much to be giving it away in the first place. But just know that it's not that person's personal information, and so they're not going to feel that bad if all of a sudden a random email gets leaked or someone's name gets published somewhere. You know, it's not theirs. They don't even know you. These are things you can do with your computer, your internet browser, as well as any device that you're connecting the internet to, like your phone or your iPad or things like that. Disable third-party cookies on your web browser. Disable location services on your device. You might not know this, but your phone or your laptop might have location services turned on. And because phones often have backdoors, or if some reason a hacker gets into your device, they can know exactly where you are, where you've been, where you're likely to return again. Okay, so now we're going to get into VPNs. Don't use a VPN that requires your email for setting up an account. Also, use one that lets you pay in crypto. I think those are two pretty good pillars of remembering when you're trying to use a VPN. Of the options listed on this site, the first option wants to know the country you're in or from, but it allows you to pay in Monero. I believe this one allows you to pay in Monero. They're a VPN that's supposed to block your information, and they're asking you for your country. I mean, come on, where the hypocrisy there? So that should be a red flag for you. Some people just kind of go along like, oh yeah, that's normal. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, they're asking that. Okay, whatever. Just stop and just ask. Like, question everything. You won't regret it. Because believe it or not, there are VPNs that don't require anything, not even an email, and they allow you to buy crypto. That's web browsers that I recommend that I personally use. I use Brave. Sometimes there's some hiccups with loading websites or whatever. For some reason, forums don't work. So I go down the line of my other browsers that I'll use. And those include, okay, so Brave first, and then I'll try Opera, which is also like a privacy focused web browser. And my last ditch effort there is Firefox. So those are the three that I would recommend that I personally use. Okay, so this is a cool one. Check if a file or a URL is infected with malware by going to virustotal.com. Linked is again in the video description. So if you're wondering if a link that someone is posting is funny, if you're nervous to click on it, this is probably just bookmark this website and run it through there and see if there's any red flags. Additionally, with any kind of file, before you download it onto your computer, it might be like a Trojan horse, where if you know the story of the Greeks and the Trojan horse, they gifted Trojan horse and they came in and like attacked the place. So a file that might be promising to you, maybe you should have your guard up and run it through this tool and then make sure that it's not a hidden virus. Also, because I was talking about emails, using different emails for these things, There's so many hacks, so much information leakage in these third parties. Like billions of people over and over again have had their information leaked. You can go to Have I Been Pwned or Pwned? I don't know how to say that. .com. Link is in the video description again. Click in your email, especially if you notice you've been getting some really scammy ones lately. See if your email has been compromised and probably set up a new one. So interacting with cryptocurrencies, you can go as private as you want. And here I'm just gonna lay out some of your options here. Consider having a separate computer that is clean. Like you've never logged on to Facebook on it. You don't have your personal email on it. Like there's nothing personally identifiable of you ever on the history of the computer. The hard drive has been wiped clean, and it's only used for your cryptocurrency interactions. It should go without saying that you don't go through KYC using this computer as well. So if you have like a designated computer just for cryptocurrencies and you're like really careful about separating that from your personal life, it could be much safer for you that way. Also, if you're really careful about trying to keep that computer clean, it might make you all the more aware of the ways that you are kind of violating your own privacy or giving it away for free on your other options. Don't publish your public keys online because, especially with any kind of a thing that identifies you as the owner of that public address or public key, whether you're doing this to get donations or you're doing this for maybe an airdrop or whatever reason maybe, just know that if you do that and it identifies you as the owner, you are saying, okay, this is my address. Now, assuming you're going to do something with those coins at some point, whether you're going to put them into a more secure storage option or maybe you're going to trade them or something, anything that moves out of that wallet, they know that you're doing it. And most likely, you're sending it maybe to another wallet that you own. And so now they know that you own this wallet and you own that wallet. And whoever is they, if you do something frequently enough where it becomes a trend or predictable, that is a pattern and that is what you do. And if it's really consistent for 4+ wallets or something, then they can identify you as owning all of those wallets. And then it just kind of spiders out after that. So I would really highly recommend against publicly publishing your public address. Satoshi Nakamoto was a huge promoter of people using multiple public addresses. In fact, he said, don't use a public address more than once. Only one time. So many people are trying to figure out what you're doing and they're trying to predict what you'll do next. And so that they can take advantage of it, whether it's advertisers, whether it's your government, or whether it's a hacker. So just try to make it as difficult for people to know what you're about to do online. I would definitely recommend that. So let's see, what else do I have here? Don't brag about how much you have in crypto. That one should be pretty straightforward, but you'd be surprised how many people think that they need to prove their legitimacy by saying like, oh, I bought so many Bitcoin. I traded so many Bitcoin and this is all my profit. Like, you're just begging to be a target. You're like putting a giant target right on your forehead. Don't do it.